I know it's not good to be angry, but I still lose my temper. How can I stop getting angry?
Anger is a state in which you feel you have been attacked physically, mentally, or socially, and you lose your temper. It's an instinctive emotion that is designed to protect your life from enemies. In Buddhism, we call this innate sense of self-protection, self-preservation, the ego. So in that sense, you cannot completely eradicate it. So acknowledge your anger. Acknowledge that anger is a defense mechanism that comes from having an ego. In Buddhism, anger is often exemplified as a physical flame. Although cooking or keeping warm nowadays doesn't rely as heavily on physical fires, fire outbreaks still occur. Once a fire breaks out, it not only threatens lives, but homes and even entire neighborhoods can be engulfed in flames. Nevertheless, despite our honest wishes, complete eradication of fire outbreaks remains unattainable. So what can we do about it? There are two things we can do: fire prevention and early extinguishing. We must try to prevent fires on a regular basis, and if a fire should start, extinguish it while the flames are still small. This applies to both physical fire and a fire within the heart, we call anger. By the way, when you get angry,
when I've felt betrayed by someone I believed I could trust, or when technology doesn't work as expected.
Well, these situations are certainly infuriating. For some people, it can be as straightforward as getting angry when someone spits at you for no good reason, or someone hits you out of the blue, or someone uses horrible words towards you. But there are also multi-leveled causes of anger, like the first reason you mentioned. I get angry when someone I trusted betrays me. In this case, a person becomes angry only after a series of information processing steps, starting with the recognition that so-and-so betrayed them, and then the recognition that they were hurt by the betrayal. The physical shock is sometimes as painful as when a person is physically attacked by an enemy.
So how do you control feelings of anger? When I try to control my anger, sometimes I'm successful, but other times it comes out.
The first step in anger management is to know the mechanism of anger. It is to know when and where anger arises and what state it brings about in our body and the mind. When you're angry, what state of mind does your mind enter?
I feel like I need to attack. I hyper-focus on what's angering me.
Okay. Then what state does your body go into?
I feel tense and I feel my heart rate increase.
So let's think about why this happens. Anger is born in our mind. When our brain determines that we've been attacked in some way, anger emerges. Anger is normally amplified the amygdala in the limbic system, which passes this information onto the hypothalamus, where now noradrenaline is secreted. Then the sympathetic nervous system is activated, blood pressure rises, heart rate increases, and mood swings occur. This is the body's response to prepare to either fight or flee when confronted by an enemy. So here are some tips for calming one's anger. We immediately try to calm our feelings when we become aware that we are carrying emotions of rage. But what's affecting our feelings the most is actually the tension in our physical bodies. By calming the tension in our bodies, anger becomes easier to manage.
what do you do to calm your body?
I use breathing. The feelings of anger, along with the accompanying tension in our body, can be conscious, but the subconscious plays a significant role in the manifestation. Breathing, too, can be done consciously, but we also do it subconsciously. We can do it in our sleep, can't we? And because breathing is something that affects both our conscious and subconscious mind, when we breathe consciously, we can relieve the subconscious tensions in our bodies. When anger arises within us, instead of being aware of our minds in an attempt to calm our feelings of anger, we should focus our attention towards our bodies through breathing. When we breathe in, the sympathetic nervous system, the nervous system of excitement, is dominant. When we exhale, the parasympathetic nervous system is dominant. So try to exhale as long as possible. Also, it's good to separate yourself from the situation that is making you angry as quickly or as much as possible. When we get angry, the limbic system is activated and the prefrontal cortex is suppressed, so IQ drops and we are unable to think rationally. However, anger never lasts. Serotonin is always secreted after every emotional reaction. No matter how intense your anger may be, a state of relaxation will come after a period of time. The elements necessary for the fire to sustain itself are heat, oxygen, and combustibles. If any of these elements are depleted, the fire will cease to burn. If you continue to stay there to fight back against the person who has hurt you, combustibles will fly from your mouth and from their mouth, one after the other. Therefore, be aware of your breathing. Exhale as deeply, as long, and as soon as possible, and leave the scene. By doing so, you can extinguish your fire early.
Okay, I understand how to extinguish anger promptly, but what should I do about methods of prevention?
It's the same as preventing physical fires. After understanding that fire is to be feared, we learn to be careful with fire, and then we train ourselves to know how to extinguish it in case of it flares up. So we must familiarize ourselves with the fires in our minds as well. All emotions happen in our minds, so we should examine our emotions on a regular basis. You will notice that small flames arise in our hearts every day. Even if they don't flare up, small flames will emerge. So we need to develop the habit of recognizing these flames and soothing them through breathing. Breathe when the body is tense or the mind is feeling anxious. When this becomes a habit, you will find it easier to live. You'll be able to enjoy harmony with your surroundings and with yourself.
Thank you, Osho Taigu.